Hola estudiantes, yo soy Profesor Street y bienvenidos a Grammar Module 3. Hoy tenemos verbos reflexivos, reflexive verbs. You guys will see this is a very useful thing to know and you will find it not that difficult. So let's go. Verbos reflexivos. First we have to ask ourselves, when do we use reflexive verbs? Well, just like in English, we use reflexive verbs when the subject does and receives the action. Many verbs can be used reflexively and they can be used in a normal way. So we will start with a verb that's not being used reflexively so we can see a comparison. For example, Profesor Street levanta a su hijo Jet a las 7 de la mañana. Professor Street wakes up who or whom? His son, right? The son receives the action in this sentence, so it's not reflexive. In comparison, Professor Street se levanta a las 5:30 de la mañana. Professor Street gets himself up. The se indicates that the action goes back to the subject and not on another object or objective pronoun or a direct object after the verb. So now that we know that, ¿cuáles son los pronombres reflexivos? What are the reflexive pronouns? Me, te, se. Nos, os, se. So we will see the next step is how do we conjugate reflexive verbs? We start with the infinitive, in this case, bañarse. In order to conjugate, quitamos se. We take off se. Tenemos bañar. Then we conjugamos normalmente el verbo. Conjugate the verb normally. Baño, bañas, etc. Then we cambiamos se para corresponder al sujeto. Change se in order to correspond with the subject. Me baño, te bañas, etc. Then you have your reflexive verb. The pronoun must correspond to the verb conjugation. Verbos reflexivos. As you've learned in the previous models, the subject pronouns are often omitted because the verb conjugation indicates the person or the subject of the verb. Subjective pronouns may be used for clarification or for emphatic reasons. For this reason, we'll go over the subject pronouns again. Yo me ducho. Tú te duchas. Usted, él, ella se ducha. Nosotros, nosotras nos duchamos. Vosotros or vosotras os ducháis y ustedes, ellos or ellas se duchan. Couple of examples. Normalmente me ducho por la mañana y por la noche. Ella siempre se cepilla los dientes después de comer. As you've seen in previous models, there's three different verb categories that have changes in the root. For this reason, I've indicated one of the high frequency verbs in this list, vestirse. Me visto, te vistes, se viste, but nos vestimos, os vestís without a change, y se visten. Other verbs that have this fall in the categories of e to ie. Verbs like divertirse, to have fun, despertarse, to wake up, sentarse, to sit down, y to I, vestirse, as just seen, despedirse, to say goodbye, and the O to UE, verbs like dormirse, acostarse, etc. You'll begin to notice a pattern among these verbs that aren't on this list that have these sorts of changes. The next thing on the list is for verb structures. As you know and as you're learning, the verb structures are a fundamental part of the way language works. We're able to communicate at a high level of proficiency in Spanish by mastering or getting a strong working understanding of a few verb structures, since we use verb structures in English and they serve as a fundamental resource to our English conversation and communication abilities. So it's important to know how reflexive verbs and reflexive pronouns behave with verb structures. There's a couple things to note. One, you have two options. The first option is to leave the pronoun at the end of the infinitive. For example, primero, voy a cepillarme los dientes. Or another option with tener que infinitivo, finalmente tengo que acostarme. You can place it before the conjugated verb. Example, primero me voy a cepillar los dientes. Finalmente me tengo que acostar. Either option is correct. And the one thing to note that has to happen is the reflexive pronoun has to correspond to the subject. This indicates that the verb is in fact being used reflexively and not as a direct object or indirect object pronoun. Okay, so we have learned how to conjugate reflexive verbs, what the reflexive verb pronouns are, and how to use reflexive verbs with verb structures. Okay, chicos, vamos a practicar. Entonces, número 1, Cecilia y Adela levantarse a las 7 casi todos los días. Muy bien, Cecilia y Adela se levantan a las 7 casi todos los días. Mi amigo Tomás vestirse con sus Nikes nuevos, pantalones grises y una camiseta de UVA. Muy bien, mi amigo se viste con sus Nikes nuevos, pantalones grises y una camiseta de UVA. Finalmente nosotros acostarse a las 3 de la mañana. Muy bien, nosotros nos acostamos a las 3 de la mañana. A veces yo ponerse mi reloj favorito para ir a la clase. Me pongo muy bien. Después de levantarse, mi novia siempre lavarse la cara. Mi novia siempre se lava su cara. Muy bien, chicos. Hoy practicamos los verbos reflexivos y ustedes pueden practicar más con las actividades. Remember, if you have any questions, please let your professor know, and there are more video tutorials to help explain the grammar. Okay, chicos, a trabajar. Hasta luego. Ciao.